Clementine sure has been through a lot of shit, but she's definitely a survivor.
We've escaped the clutches of Carver, but find ourselves separated in a sea of walkers. And remember, keep your eyes and ears away if you're not a fan of spoilers.
Let's see who lives and who dies in the final 2 episodes of Telltale's The Walking Dead, Season 2. I'm Brian Mitchell.
And I'm Ian Stark.
And this is the Skybound Rundown.
Escaping the Carver compound ends up costing the group an arm and a leg. Or at least an arm. We decided to chop off Sarita's arm to free her from a walker, but she ends up being devoured anyways.
Poor Sarita. Poor Kenny.
Fucking dare you, Clementine!
Kenny is pissed. He blames Clementine for the bites, and we make the hard decision for him.
No!
We try to stay close to the group as we leave, but they lost us. We weave through the crowd until we find Rebecca and Jane. Rebecca mourns the death of Alvin and gets into it with selfish old Jane, only looking out for herself. But survivalist Jane's gone through her own share of shit.
Me and my sister, we were...
She died?
Guys, we should probably keep moving.
Traversing through the woods, we find Mike, Bonnie, and Kenny as they're keeping an eye out for the others, and Kenny isn't doing too hot. He takes out his anger on Clem, blaming her for Sarita's death. We then accompany Jane to scout ahead a bit, and we can tell a sisterly bond is beginning to blossom. Until we run into a couple of fresh walkers and loot the shit out of them. Nice. Some bullets and a nail file. After flipping over a varsity walker, we found Sarah's glasses.
Leave no walker unturned.
They have to be nearby. We go around the corner to discover an undead Nick. Clem puts him out of his misery, and then Jane upgrades our weapon and teaches us some sweet moves.
You did the knee thing. Nice trick, huh?
We can hear Luke and Sarah held up in a house nearby, so let's distract some walkers.
Honk, honk.
We narrowly make it into the house and try to escape with Luke and Sarah, but not without some tough love.
Move!
Kenny's still going fucking insane, and it's once again up to us to snap him out of it.
I need you.
Kenny will remember that.
No time for this. Rebecca's water broke, and Kenny's finally ready to help, telling us we need fresh water and blankets. Mike and Bonnie take care of that while Clem accompanies Jane to find a safe space. We found an elevated deck with a locked garage. Perfect for a berthing. Jane tries to pick the lock, and we decide to look through a telescope.
Oh, snap!
There's a man coming our way, but we got a plan. Clem distracts him so that Jane can get his gun. His name is Arvo, a seemingly innocent man just trying to get medicine to his sister. But this is also medicine that we could use. Do we steal it? Or do we do the honorable thing and let him take it? We're honorable as fuck, so we let him go, medicine intact.
Back to camp.
When we arrive, Mike and Bonnie still aren't back, so we go to check on them. After some searching, we found a Confederate coat, aka a towel, along with some fresh water. When suddenly...
I'd eat the shit out of that raccoon.
But it gets away with its little babes. Back with the others, Rebecca attracts walkers with her labor screams, and we gotta move. We get everyone to the observation deck, but the walkers followed us.
And Jane and Luke are getting it.
The fuck are you two doing up here?
We cap a few of them and try to form a blockade with a cannon, but the deck gives way.
Oh, shit!
Sarah falls under the rubble, and Jane is hardly hanging on. We decide to help Jane, well, because she's more useful. And our decision led to the seemingly inevitable death of Sarah. New plan, destroy the deck. After knocking down the supports, it collapses, and now we're safely perched above the walkers.
But the baby.
Is it?
Whew. It's nap time for all but Jane, who decides she needs to leave, but not before giving us her nail file. Luke then throws a fit when he finds out, and he and Kenny really get into it. Kenny suggests we leave, while Luke thinks we should let Rebecca rest. We agree with Luke. A human just came out of her. Jesus Christ, Kenny. Cut 2. Our group treks through the snow. Luke and Kenny continue to argue while Rebecca takes a seat for a moment.
Hello?
And there's Arvo. Oh boy, I hope he has somewhere warm for us to stay. God damn it. An intense standoff begins, and during all the commotion, Rebecca dies.
Goodbye, Rebecca.
We decide to call for help, and Kenny does the deed. Cue gunfire.
No!
We've entered into full die-hard mode. As Kenny and Luke lay down fire, Clementine notices the baby on the ground. Whew. She saves little AJ from the clutches of Hans. Luke tries to change positions, but gets shot. Kenny returns the favor. There's one man left, and Kenny grabs Arvo as a human shield. But when Clem has to shoot Arvo's walker of a sister, he leaps to the ground to be by her side.
Kenny, duck!
Our foe steps out of the shadows to finish the job. But look who decides to join the party.
Good fucking shit, Jane.
As the dust settles, Kenny goes apeshit on Arvo. Mike and Luke jump in the way, and Arvo says he has supplies back at a nearby house.
Please, I can thank you.
So the group heads out in search of Arvo's gold. Jane heeds warning to Clem. She's cautious of Kenny, who continues to berate Arvo. Due to Luke's banged up leg, they take a pit stop, and Clementine changes Kenny's bandages.
Holy fucking hell.
They continue moving and reach a fenced-off area where they decide to spend the night.
Roasty toasty.
A fire is started as a birthday present for Luke. Bonnie, Mike, and Luke banter about Luke's pre-birthday sex with Jane, who stands alone in solitude. Kenny does the same while holding AJ. Clem takes Luke's rum and offers it to Jane and Kenny, whom we get to rejoin the group. Mike tries to offer rum to Arvo, who is incredibly receptive.
Leave me alone!
Kenny gets up and leaves again, continuing his emotional descent from the rest of the group.
Let's get a move on.
They reach Arvo's house, which happens to be across a frozen lake.
Let the Rusky go first, since he's so confident.
They get to walking, but
Walker's on ice.
Arvo makes a run for it, and Kenny and Mike follow suit. As the commotion settles, Clem turns to find a doomed Luke. With demon boys approaching from behind, we have a huge decision in our wake.
Do we listen to Luke, stay back and fire at the walkers to buy him time, or do we run up to Luke and help him out of the water?
We decide to stay back and fire at will. Bonnie walks towards him and reaches out.
Luke and Bonnie, no!
Clem hammers upon our icy barrier of death. Whoopsie. And ends up falling in herself. She finds a lifeless Luke, his angelic soul on its way to heaven.
Goodbye, Luke.
Clem and Bonnie survive, and the group makes their way to the house. Kenny's anger is boiling over, and he takes it out on Arvo.
Fucking commie piece of shit!
Mike, Jane, and Bonnie are fed up with Kenny, and the group is in disarray. Clem goes outside to help Kenny fix up a truck. The group argues about where they should head to next. Kenny is hell-bent on leaving for Wellington right then and there, but eventually agrees to sleep on it. But Clem wakes up to Mike, Bonnie, and Arvo attempting to steal the truck under the cloak of nightfall. We threaten them, but Clem ends up handing over the gun to Mike. Doesn't stop Arvo, though.
Clementine!
She awakens in the truck with Jane and Kenny, who left the others stranded. They argue constantly until reaching a blockade of cars. Kenny gets out to find a way through. As walkers approach, Clementine punches the gas. Kaboom! Jane takes AJ and runs off, and Clementine fights through the walkers and snow. She stumbles upon Kenny in an old shop. Jane approaches, but with no AJ.
WWE SmackDown! Jane versus Kenny.
Kenny goes apeshit on Jane. Jane pulls out her machete. Shring! And the two get to fighting despite Clem's plea for them to stop. Kenny gets on top of her and begins shoving the knife down towards Jane. Our biggest decision of the season must be made in a heartbeat. Do we let Kenny kill Jane, or do we put down the rabid dog our friend has become?
Goodbye, Kenny.
Kenny! Kenny reassures us that we made the right decision, and he fades away to be with his son and wife at last. However, we hear a baby's cry.
Say it ain't so.
AJ is alive, revealing Jane's agenda. She hit AJ to simply prove a point to Clementine, resulting in her killing her longest friend she had left.
Fuck that shit.
With no hesitation, we leave Jane for good. Clementine is on her own.
After a long, treacherous road of hardships for our maturing young woman, where will Clementine head to next? Will she run into old friends? Who will she meet along the way? How will she maneuver through the clutches of a dark and lonely winter?
Clementine is growing stronger by the minute, and you can find out where she is next at this very moment. Today is the official release of The Walking Dead Season 3. And remember to come back next Tuesday for another episode of the Skybound Rundown, where we cover the Telltale miniseries of Michonne.
Did you rob Arvo? Who did you choose to help, Jane or Sarah? Did you help Luke or lay down cover fire? Did you save Jane or Kenny? Let us know in the comments what decisions you made, and don't forget to subscribe to the wonderful world of Skybound. Thanks for tuning in, guys.